Welcome to Canine Handler Fitness. This is a podcast for dog sport handlers who want to feel strong, capable, and confident in their bodies. Hi, my name's Liz Joyce. I am a strength and conditioning coach, and I specialize in fitness for agility and dog sport performance. In this podcast, we cover everything you need: strength, speed, mobility, and endurance. All the things to keep you moving, performing, and doing what you love, both in and out of the ring. Let's dive into today's episode. Hey y'all, and welcome back to the podcast. We're having this conversation because spring is starting to really blow up. All over North America, people are starting to, my clients anyhow, head outside, or they're almost going to head outside, and everyone's just itching to put their summer clothes on. Me too. And some things are going to change from a fitness perspective, especially if you've been spending time working out on a treadmill. So we're going to talk today about that. And it would be really interesting. I'd love to know if this has ever happened to you, because this has happened to me. And the first time it happened to me, I was angry. so angry. This is the scenario. You've been consistent on a treadmill all winter and you're feeling really fit, strong, you're capable, you are crushing the miles, you got good sprint speed. You're just like, I'm ready to go and nothing's getting in my way. And if it does, I'm gonna run it over. But then spring hits and then you go outside for your first outdoor run. And within 5 minutes, you maybe start thinking, why do I feel heavier? Have I gained 20 pounds in the last 2 minutes? Or why is this so much harder? Did somebody put lead in my shoes? Or why am I breathing so much more? You might start checking your face for a KN95 mask. The question really is, did I lose fitness? And the answer to that question is no. But something did change, and we're going to talk about why. First off, I just want to say this real clear, and I'm going to say it twice for those of y'all that are in the back. Treadmills are not bad. I'm going to say it one more time. Treadmills are not bad. They're controlled, predictable, consistent. For people that have knee problems that still want to run, treadmills have the ability to absorb shock too, so it can be a safer way to get cardio in for that population. What happens is the belt moves under you, which means for you that you're not propelling your full body weight forward in the same way that you would be outside. Outside, you push yourself over the ground, but on a treadmill, the ground is moving underneath you, which is a subtle difference, but it's got a really big impact because the treadmill reduces the amount of forward propulsion that you have to create. This does not mean that you are cheating. All it means is that the demand is different. When you run outside, you're going to encounter wind resistance. You're going to encounter terrain variation. Even when you're on sidewalks, it's not likely going to be totally flat. Uneven surfaces, and also visual and auditory stimulation, which means that your body is going to be constantly making micro adjustments. And when you're on a treadmill, there's going to be almost none of those. When you're outside, your nervous system will also be working harder, and that costs energy. If one of your questions above was, why do I feel heavier when I move from treadmill to outdoor running? It's usually because, number one, you are now fully responsible for forward propulsion. Number two, you are going to be managing the real ground reaction forces. Instead of having the give in the treadmill, you are going to now need to create that on a hard surface. And number three, you're going to be stabilizing in multiple planes. On a treadmill, you move mostly sagittally or forward. But outside, you are going to have to subtly stabilize side to side every single stride. And that extra stabilization is going to tax your hips and core more than you realize. Because don't forget that running is a sport that only ever happens on one foot at a time. So if step-ups feel quite hard for you, that's a single leg exercise. When you start running outside, that's probably going to feel tricky too, right? Now let's talk about why the cardio aspect feels so much harder. And it's not that your heart got weaker. It's not that your lungs have lost capacity. It's not that your blood's having a difficult time transporting oxygen around. It's that the total system demand has increased, and not by a small amount. We're talking about having more muscle recruitment, more stabilization, and more environmental input. Your heart is going to respond to total demand. So your breathing's going to go up, which doesn't mean that you've lost fitness. The lens I want you to think about is that you've increased complexity. We're actually having this conversation today because if you are working out on a treadmill and you're itching to get outside and put your running shoes on, I want you to be prepared for what's coming for you so you can frame it in a way that feels really productive and you can go from slaying inside to slaying outside. Here's another piece that people don't think about that much. What about our pacing? On a treadmill, you set the speed. Your footfalls are the same, but outside, you have to self-regulate. And most people accidentally run way faster outside than they think. And even tiny increases in pace will change your effort, and not in a small way, but dramatically. I'm going to tell you how I learned how to pace myself, and it was with the use of a treadmill. I was never a runner growing up. I never got into distance running. I never liked sprinting. I never liked jogging. But when I was in my early 20s, I was dating somebody who rode their bicycle across Canada, and this person also was a runner. So I was like, hey, I'll try it, which if you know me is no surprise. But I was having a really difficult time pacing myself. I'd run really, really fast and then need to take a break. I'd make it for one full block and then I'd need to walk for a block or two. And it was more like tempo runs or sprinting without the cardio capacity to back it up. So this is what I did. I set a speed on a treadmill. I found the speed that I could hold for 10 minutes at a time. And at that time, that speed was 5 miles an hour. Then what I did was pay really close attention to how far I was needing to step. How long are my steps when I'm on the treadmill at 5 miles an hour? And then I counted in my head, 1, 2, 1, 2, or whatever speed it was that my feet were hitting the belt. I did this over and 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 over again, and over and over and over again. And then I did it some more. And this was during the winter. By the time springtime, summertime came around, I did definitely go probably a little bit too fast when I first got out the gate. But I reminded myself, what does my breathing feel like? And how far apart are my steps? And how frequently were they hitting the belt at the gym? And that helped me pace myself within a few workouts outside, which made such a big difference. I want you all to know that I don't run at 5 miles an hour anymore, but I did. And you know what? It was an excellent starting place. And if you're running at 4 miles an hour or 3.8 miles an hour, that's also an excellent starting place. If you're jogging at 8.5 miles an hour, that's also an excellent place. And this is all about you doing what you can do and helping your body be the best that it can be. So what are we going to do with all this info? I can't ever have you leaving an interaction with me thinking, I'm so out of shape. So we're not going to be thinking this. When you go from treadmill to outside, you have to stop the thoughts that sound like, I'm so out of shape. What I need you to think before you put your shoes on, the day before you're going to plan to do your run outside, before you've put your socks on, you need to think and tell yourself, I need an outdoor adaptation phase. Those are different things. We're going to lower your pace a little bit. Again, if you're treadmill to outside, try to slow it down a little bit. Get familiar with the frequency that your feet are hitting the belt. Try to memorize how far you're stepping in your strides. Let's shorten your distance at first. So if you're running 2 miles on a treadmill, when you go outside, let's aim for 1.25. And lastly, you're going to need to let your tissues adapt. On a treadmill, there's quite a lot of give. So when you land with your foot, you don't need to absorb as much. And let's not forget that whenever your body makes contact with a hard surface, the stabilizing muscles kick in to stabilize you. And the harder the surface, the harder the impact, the harder the contraction. The harder the contraction, the more muscle adaptation, which really in the long short of it means that your legs are going to be really sore. Or they might be really sore. So you got to give yourself some time there and understand that the ask is different. It's not that your fitness is gone, but the environment has changed. The treadmill is amazing, and it is amazing for building capacity, especially if you're in a place where you can't get outside year round. When you run outside is where you're going to build more resilience. These are both tools. They are not interchangeable, and they're both excellent tools. And I wanted to talk to you today so you could understand the difference and stop panicking or feeling like you've taken a few steps back when spring feels harder, because it probably will. Thanks so much for being here with me today and choosing to spend this time investing in yourself. I hope you feel encouraged to take action. Even the smallest steps forward will add up in ways you cannot even imagine yet. If this episode gave you something to think about or lifted you up, please share it with a friend. You really never know who might need these tools today. For more information, practical tools, and resources to help you get stronger and confident both in and out of the ring, head on over to caninehandlerfitness.com.
You can also find me on all the socials under the same name, so come on over and say hi. I'm here to help you build the skills, knowledge, and belief you need to reach your goals. Keep going, keep learning, and most of all, keep showing up for yourself. You've got this, and I'll be here cheering for you every step of the way.